So welcome to today's class. In our last class, we talked about the internet. We talked about what a website is made up of. We talked about CMS. And I explained to you in our last class that the internet is basically a cord, a very, very long cord that connects clients and servers together. And you making a request, let's say you're searching for Netflix.com, you are the client, and the server is the computer that actually holds the Netflix.com web page. Now, I explained to you that when you make a request to Netflix.com, I'm using Netflix.com. In the previous video, I used Google.com. So I explained to you that when you make a request that I want to see Netflix.com, the request will be carried through your ISP provider, internet service provider, to the internet backbone and down to the DNS, the domain name server. And the domain name server basically is a library that contains almost all the old domain names and the IP address attached to the domain names. And an IP address is basically internet protocol address. Every device or computer that is connected to the internet has an IP address. Your phone has an IP address, your computer has an IP address, and it's from that IP address that other computers can interact, and it can also make some other requests, you understand? So now, basically, every web page that you see is stored on a computer. So for that computer to be accessed, you have to access it through the IP address. So, but before you can get the IP address, you have to make a request to the DNS, the domain name server that stores the domain name, let's say Netflix.com, with the IP address of the computer that actually has the Netflix.com website. You understand? And now, once you contact that DNS, the DNS will now send the IP address through the internet backbone to your internet service provider, and it will send a response to you, and the response will be the IP address. Now, your browser will now make a direct request to that IP address through your internet service provider down to the internet backbone and to the server where the website is. The website will now send a response back to your phone or your laptop or whatever you're using to browse the internet through that same path. You understand? So basically that is, and I explained to you that a website is made up of code. It's basically code. You get all you can see. All the beautiful things and the designs you're seeing is just code, short and simple. Now, and in the last class, I showed you guys how to make a basic web page using code. And I'm going to show you guys how to do that right now. So here's our notepad. Share that screen to you. Now I actually did a little bit of styling, but I'm going to remove all this styling to do them from the scratch along with you, so you would understand what really went down. And this image, removing it, removing all this. So basically, in the last class, this is what we were left with. Let me save this. Now I'm going to share our web page. Let me refresh this. So basically in the last class. Oh, and also the header, I changed it to ASU code of strike. Don't mind my humor. So now, this is what we created in the last class. And I told you that this here is the title. Let me show you. Let's go back to our code. This is my first web page, is the title that you can see up here. And everything that goes in the head, everything won't show in the body. You understand? But it shows sometimes when you want to share your WhatsApp link to somebody, you would see, let's say, this header pop up. You understand? And when this header pop up, you would see like that icon, the icon of the website, and maybe a short description. So it's in this head that you can put all those things and manipulate it. Then everything that will show on the body, I mean on the website or the web page would go in the body. So this is that ASU code of strike head that you saw. And this is the paragraph here. Now, this paragraph is contained between these two tags, the opening paragraph tag and the closing paragraph tag. So every editing you want to make happens like for you to show in the web page should be in the body. So take for instance, if you come here, this is inline styling. This code now is CSS code, but or is an attribute, a style attribute that allows you make CSS code in your HTML file. So you can come in here and let's say you want to give it a background color. Let me give it a background color of blue. And also the spelling of the color is American spelling, not British spelling. If you spell it C-O-L-O-U-R, you are not going to get anything. You have to be C-O-L-O-R. Don't forget that. That is in programming. Background color. We'll now give it blue. We'll save this. And if I share our browser and I refresh this, now we have a blue background color. We don't really like a blue background with dark text. So what we'll do, we'll come back to our notepad. We can now change our text color by writing color. Let's give our text color white since our background is blue, white. We save this, and we go back to our browser. Once we refresh this, now you can see our background color is white. ASU code of strike. Then we have our paragraph. Then we can add an image. I showed you in our last class, this folder I created, this basic web page folder, and we had this index.html. But of recent, I added a new file into it, and this is this react.jpg image. So if you want to add an image to your web page, you understand, you have to put that image in the folder where you have your code, you get. Then now look at the name, react.jpg. You will now come to your code. Then let's say under this head H1, you now put the image tag img src. I remember what the name of that thing was called. It was called react.jpg. Close. Then image tag is self-closing. Remember, I told you every tag needs an opening and a closing tag. But an image tag is self-closing. It doesn't need an opening and closing tag. So once we refresh this, or once we save this and go to our web browser and refresh, voila, we have our image. But as you can see, the image is so big, it pushed down this paragraph, and we won't like it to be like this. So we can go back to our code and edit the size of our image. So we'll just say width. Let's give it 300 px. And px means pixels. P-I-X-E-L-S, pixels. So 300 pixels. Then we go back to our web page and refresh. And here, our image is smaller. But actually, I don't like this blue background and the white text. You can now go back there to our code and remove this whole row. It's just this single line of text, background color blue, that is making that website blue, and color white, that is making the text white. Once we remove this and we save it, and we refresh our web page, have you seen it? It has reverted back to the original. So, and I also showed you that you can style inline text. Take, for instance, this I'm a full stack web developer. This full stack web developer, let me highlight it. This full stack web developer, I want to make it bigger than this other text in the web page. We use and want to make it bold. There's a tag called strong. This strong tag would make whatever text that's in it bold. So you close it strong. Then you edit a particular piece of text, let's say the style, like we want to increase the font size. You understand? We can now give it, we use this span. Span is used to edit inline elements. So span, and we close it. So now we can now give it this style attribute style, like this thing we did here, up here, style with the body. You understand? Style, you get. So we'll come here, style equals to double quotes. Then we can now give it, let's say, 18 px, and we save this. Then now we go back to our browser, open up. Are you seeing this full stack web developer? See how it's the same size with this remaining stuff. Once I refresh it, have you seen it has become bigger than this remaining stuff? So that is basically how to create a basic web page. So after showing you that, I moved on to WordPress. I explained to you what WordPress plugins are and WordPress themes. So let's present this. So WordPress basically is a CMS. For those who didn't join the last class, a CMS is a content management system. So, but WordPress is an open source content management system written in PHP. I explained to you what an open source content management system is. An open source content management system, like name implies, open source is free and open for everybody to use. Unlike commercial CMS that you need to pay money, and the SaaS that you need to pay as you go. WordPress plugins. I'm not going to say this long explanation, but when you're watching the video, you can pause it. So WordPress plugins are basically what gives your website functions. Remember the last class I explained to you what a web app, let me move this image so you can see. I explained to you what a web app is and a website is. So WordPress plugins can make your WordPress site a web app. So that's basically the explanation for that. Then WordPress themes are the themes that, or the visual or the graphics that the user can see. So basically, WordPress theme is somebody just wrote the code, you understand, and uploaded it as a WordPress theme. Then you can use the WordPress content management application to edit, to make edits. So that's already made theme, you understand. WordPress themes versus plugins. WordPress themes alter the site's layout and visual style, like I said, while plugins add all kinds of features and functionality. All kinds of features and functionality. There are many web hosting companies that allow WordPress hosting. Here are a few. We have Bluehost, HostGator, Hostinger, and GoDaddy. You can use this, but due to some restrictions that this specific restriction on our Naira card that you cannot make more than $20 transaction per month is affecting people. But now people are resorting to use virtual dollar cards to pay for all this hosting because most of these hosting companies are foreign companies. You understand? And it's quite expensive. So in the paid class, I'm going to show you free, not free, cheap web hosting companies that you don't need to pay in dollars, that you can use your Naira card and pay in Naira. So you don't need to start getting a virtual dollar card to utilize your newfound WordPress skills. So now, how to create a blog website using WordPress. So let me show you that. So basically, this is the blog website we created. This is the blog website we created. And this is our new website we want to create. Let me go here and remove it because this is a remake. So I've already created the video from scratch. So I think what we'll do is let me go to the themes, appearance, themes. And select this theme, activate. So basically, this is what you would see if you just start looking at your website without selecting anything. This is a basic theme. You get nothing is there. Don't mind those blog posts that I put. You get. So that was from the previous editing that we've already made. So what you do when you've gotten access to your WordPress dashboard, first you go to your settings, go to general, then you check and see if the site title is what you want, is an Edify blog, you understand, you can edit it. This is already there because we've already started editing it. You understand? This is a remake, like I said. So we edit it. Then the tagline is the description. You can change the description and you make sure this correlates with this. You understand? Then you make sure that you put in the email, in this administrator email, the email you want to be receiving mails you get. Then you save it. Then you go to the permalinks. You make sure you check these permalinks. These permalinks has to be in post name. In the part 2 of this video, you'll see why I explained why you have to use this post name permalink. And aside from that, you can now move to creating your web page. So to select this beautiful theme you are seeing, the name of this theme is called Fairy. So you come to appearance, you select themes. I've already installed the Fairy theme. So, but if you want to install, if you've not installed it before, you can just come here, search install themes and search for Fairy. You get. See, I've not even searched it finished, I've already brought it. Then you install it first. Me, I have activate because I've installed it already. Then you click on activate. Once you activate it, you refresh this page, then you have it like this. Then these links here, in the next video, you'll be shown how to put these links and everything. So try to continue the next video. Enjoy yourself and have a nice day. Thank you very much. So watch the next video to continue.